Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it.
Ground control to Major Tom.
What?
It says ground control to Major Tom. Come in, Major Tom.
Hello? I'm Major Tom.
That's not what Major Tom sounded like.
Hello, it's Major Tom.
Major Tom was like a smooth-talking criminal. I don't know what that means. Let's talk about process.
Let's talk about processing. Let's talk about you and me.
Okay, I'm going to define painful.
Okay.
Painful to me is the process of trying to create something from scratch without any clear directions or objectives.
Or intentions.
Yeah. And that's what I think that's what most people, how they approach blogging, to be honest.
I kind of think most people approach blogging as this is something I need to do to engage my audience.
Yeah.
And have Google like me so I can be easily findable.
Yeah. I think that's true. And I think the most important part of that sentence is the beginning. I need to do.
Yeah, I should.
I'm gonna use myself as I can't speak for everyone, but I'm gonna use myself. I know it's pretty shocking.
That's a first.
I'm gonna use myself as an example.
Okay.
I think it's gonna resonate with a few people.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been working in SEO for years,
Yes.
right? I used to do SEO for like small businesses. I used to be their consultant and do their SEO forum.
Yes.
I knew that, hey, I need a blog. I need to blog myself, right?
Yes.
So here's what I did. Every few years, I'd get really excited. I'd be like, yep, I need to do this. I'm going to do this. I would sit down. I'd write a blog this month. I would write a blog the next month, or maybe every 2 weeks. I would do 2 to 3 blogs, and then I would do nothing for 3 years.
I think that may resonate with some.
Because the process was painful.
Painful. It's like posting to Instagram.
Could be. I think the same approach would probably help with Instagram.
Inspire.
But I'm not going to.
But we're not talking about that.
I'm not going to talk about
digress.
Instagram. But the
Husband.
same approach,
Yes.
I think is probably good for all areas of business, but specifically in how it relates to blogging, creating content. So for me, the process was painful.
Yeah.
And so I would go in bursts. I'd be like, I'm going to do this. I would buckle down, do 2 to 3 blog posts, and then nothing for 5 years. Not impressive.
Yeah.
Then
But
during,
identifiable.
yeah, that's the portion I think that most people will identify with.
Yeah.
Then COVID happened. Do you remember one of the things I did during COVID was I started creating those videos?
Yeah, I do.
It's one of the ways I passed the time while we were indoors with nothing else to do. I just started experimenting. Yeah. I just started experimenting. I started talking about SEO into a microphone and literally just doing SEO on my screen and recording it without any real objective. I was really just experimenting.
Yeah.
Now those videos were pretty terrible, I'll be honest. They were awful. They sounded terrible. They sounded terrible. You were sneezing or coughing in the background. There were dogs barking right in the middle. There'd be like, "Hey, baby!" They weren't great. They did not start off being great. But you know what? It led one way or another to this.
Wow.
To be honest, like this is part of my blog now, this podcast.
Wow.
I enjoy this. This is a process I like. I mean, I get to talk about SEO.
Yeah.
My wife, listens to me talk about SEO.
Because she has to.
Pretends to be interested, laughs at my jokes, and agrees with pretty much everything I say. I've created my own little fantasy world here. I would live inside this podcast if I could. Now, my point is that I found a process that I liked.
Right.
Now, this is not my entire blog. I have other portions of my blog also. Yeah. But my point is, don't get stuck. Don't get caught thinking that your blog needs to be great. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna rhyme.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be great right out of the gate.
Ooh.
That's cringeworthy. I'm sorry.
So cringy.
Instead, experiment and find a process that you like. And when you find a process that you like, then you're going to start making it better.
Yeah. Cue the dogs barking in the middle.
Cue the dogs barking and Meredith sneezing.
Some things never change.
It does sound better.
It does sound a lot better.
And I still do that other portion of the blog I mentioned, doing a screen share. I still do that, and I enjoy that also.
What's that?
But that's honestly the portion of the blog that delivers my organic traffic.
Huh. When
you're doing your blog, there's going to be pieces, I think that, or most often, there's going to be pieces that are like really good and draw your traffic. Like those are my screen share tutorials. They get a lot of traffic.
That's great.
This podcast is the other portion of my blog. This is what I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to give it a caveat.
Okay.
This is what I consider the filler portion of the blog. I don't mean filler in that it's not quality.
Important.
I mean, it's filler in that I can consistently produce it. Like sometimes I'm really busy. I can't do screen shares. I can't do something that is really going to be like high quality, how to do this, XYZ.
Right.
But in those cases, then I still have the podcast. Good God. I still have the podcast coming out every week. Right. So I still have that activity.
Yeah. I don't think the word is filler. I don't think the word filler is right.
Yeah, probably not.
I think
I'll have to come up with a
content.
Consistency. It's the consistent portion. And so that I was saying, I get the question a lot, how often do I need to blog? There is some benefit to posting consistently, and that's the podcast for me. It's the consistency. It's the consistent portion.
When you say there is some benefit to blogging consistently,
yes,
that means that Google likes it.
Yes. If you are producing fresh content every week, Google is going to establish a rhythm of coming back to check your site every week. Oh. If you're producing content like I used to do,
like I haven't done
2 months in a row every 4 years, Google is going to say, you know what, we probably don't need to visit this site very often.
Right, because nothing's going to happen.
And a site that Google visits more often is more likely to show up more in their rankings.
Fair enough.
So there is the podcast is the consistency portion of my blog.
Kind of the ingredients to a delicious cake that you make every week.
Yeah.
Kind of tastes a little different, but it's still a cake.
So although I can't tell you what your process should be or could be or might be, I will tell you that you need a process. You need to find something you enjoy doing. Don't be afraid to experiment. Yeah. And don't think that it needs to be great right out of the gate.
Perfect.
You know, there was a quote by Zig Ziglar. Have you ever heard the name Zig Ziglar? I don't know. He was an author, like a motivational speaker. He was a salesman. That was his profession. I think he wrote a book and then he became a motivational speaker. He said something that has always resonated with me. He said, you don't need to be great to start, but you need to start to be great.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's really good.
Great.
Like you need to start.
You do need to start.
So don't be afraid to start, experiment. And you know what? Give yourself the freedom of thinking, these first couple blogs I'm going to create or whatever I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete it in a month. Right. It's just a learning experience.
So, because you know what? It's all a learning experience.
Yeah, it is all a learning experience. So remember that. Remember Zig Ziglar. You don't need to be great to start, but you need to start to be great. And then next week, we're going to talk about where you can begin your process.
Okay.
Exactly what you can do to help sort of rev your engines. That sounds corny. But
it does, but
that's what we're going to do.
It's what it's about.
Yeah.
We're going to start the blender to make ingredients for the cake. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. We'll have a cake.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, yes, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.